Alright, so this is how I'm going to design the flower pot. This is in Fusion 360. First thing I did is I named my file, and my file type is hybrid design. So the options are either a part, which is where I would just be making a single component, or an assembly, or hybrid. Without going into a lot of detail, hybrid works better for me with what we're doing here, since I'll be making 3 different iterations of the similar design: the 4-inch, the 6-inch, and the 8-inch. So we're just going to do hybrid and leave it there. So first thing I'm going to do is right click on the top of my browser tree over here on the left. I'm going to select new component. I'm going to rename this to 4-inch pot and hit OK. So now you see over here on the left, this component is now active. You can see by the black dot in the center of the gray circle. If I would go back up here to flower pot and click, that would activate that component. But we're going to work on this one right now. So I'm going to activate the 4-inch pot, and I'm going to start with creating the cylinder for the base. So I'm going to select cylinder. I'm going to select this plane here. Look at it from the top. I'm going to go right to the center. And for my diameter, I'm going to do it in millimeters just because it's easier. So 4 inches is 101.6 millimeters. So that's going to be the width of our flower pot. Now this is the base I'm working on right here. So we're going to do the base first. That's supposed to be 3 inches high. 3 inches is 76.2 millimeters. And we're going to leave this as new body. Hit OK. Now if we expand this over on the left, this 4-inch pot component, if we expand bodies, we see we have body 1 here now. So right away we want to rename that, and we'll call this the base. Now on the base, we're going to have a portion of it extend up, and that's going to be the threaded portion. So I'm going to do that next, and it's going to be nearly the same diameter, but I want a 10-inch space on both sides. So to do that, I'm going to go back, create another cylinder, and it's going to be off of this face here. I'm going to select this face, look at it from the top. I'm going to move my mouse over the middle here so it snaps to the middle. And then for the diameter, I'm going to go 101.6, which was our original diameter, minus 20. Then for our height, I want to go up 10 millimeters. So that's our rough base with the upper portion for the threads. And we're going to do the upper threaded part. So to do that, I'm going to construct an offset plane just off this face and go up 2 millimeters. And then we're going to make another cylinder on this plane here at the top. Now this diameter is going to be D84, which is our overall diameter, minus 8. And you'll see why later. I'll do that. And then I'm going to go down 12 millimeters on this. So I'm going to go negative 12. And right now it's trying to cut away the body that it's intersecting with. We do not want that. We'll change it to new body and hit OK. And then over here, I'm going to name this to upper threads, threaded part. Now I'm going to create the upper part of the flower pot. I'm going to look at it from the top again. I'm going to select this face And I'm going to create sketch on this face here. And I'm going to hit C for circle, or I could click on it up here in the upper left. I'm going to go from the center, and we're going to go out to the same D84 minus 8. It's going to snap us right to the edge there. Hit OK. Then I'm going to do an offset. Click offset right there. I'm going to select the circle we just made, and we're going to in -5. That's going to be the wall of our flower pot. Hit OK. Finish sketch. Now we're going to extrude this up for the height of our flower pot, which is also 4 inches. So I'm going to hit E for extrude, or I could select it right here. I'm going to select my profile, I'm going to hit E, and we're going to go up 101.6 millimeters, which is 4 inches. And we'll leave that at join. I'll rename this to just the upper part. So next I want to work on threads. First I'm going to hide this upper part, and I'm going to shell out this lower part. So I'm just going to select the top face there and hit my shell command up here on the top, and it's asking for my shell thickness. I'm going to do 5 millimeters and hit OK. And to see how that looks on the inside, I'm just going to go up here to my inspect menu and hit my section analysis. It wants me to select a cut plane. I'm going to select my vertical plane and flip it so it's toward me. There we go. Now I can see exactly what's going on the inside there, and that does look correct. I'll add some details in the bottom and the top here later. Let me turn my analysis. I can turn this plane on and off over here on the left side by toggling this eye icon here. I'll turn that off. And actually, I'm going to go back and undo my shell command real quick. Now that I have the rough shape of both of these, I'm going to copy this whole component here. I want to paste it because I'm going to be making 2 more versions of this, the 6-inch and the 8-inch. So I'm going to go back up here to the top of my browser tree to my main component, my main assembly, the flower pot. I'm going to right click and paste new. You want to do paste new. If you just do paste, it will link your new pasted component to the original component, to the point where any changes you make to the original will reflect in the new, and we do not want that. So I'm going to go paste new. I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to activate it and rename it to 6-inch pot. And go back up here. And I'm going to paste new one more time. Okay. And this would be the 8-inch pot. Now it's going to be a little confusing because essentially what this is doing is it's putting all of these components on top of each other. So if I hide this one and this one, you can see all 3 of the components are just stacked on top of each other. So to make it easier to edit, I'm going to hide all of them and just show the one that I'm working on, which is this 4-inch one here. I'm going to go back and reactivate this one. Expand it. I'm going to hide the upper portion. I'll redo my shell command. Whoops. Not that. Redo my shell. 5 millimeter. And do my inspection. Cut plane. Flip that. Okay, so that looks good. Turn that back off. Now I'm going to do my threads. I'm going to do an offset plane. You'll see why it makes the threads work a little bit better. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to go up 2 millimeters. OK. Select my coil. This is going to be the plane that I'm starting from, the offset plane I just made. So I'll click that. And then once a center point, it's going to be right here. And for my coil diameter, I want it to be 0.2 millimeters less than this threaded portion here, which that was D84, my diameter 84, minus 10, but I'm going to do this minus 10.2. Hit OK. And as you can see, it makes a very giant coil. So we're going to turn this section here, this is the size of the coil, I'll take that down to 2. I'm going to leave this section on center. The type of coil set is circular, which is fine. The height, I'm going to reduce this to 6. And revolutions, we're just going to do 1. And actually, this diameter was 10 millimeters on both sides, so I need to do a total of 20.2. And we're going to leave it as new body. We don't want it cutting into there. So here's what I'm looking for to verify. You can see here that my thread does not quite meet this bottom plane, which is what I want, and it doesn't quite meet this top, which is also what I want. So I'm going to put a chamfer on this very top edge here. I don't want it to intersect too much with this thread there. So that looks good there. I hit OK. Now to blunt these ends just a little bit, I'm going to make those look a little bit better. I'm just going to select this face and then hit M for move, or I could click right here on my top menu. And I'm going to drag this angle here to about 55 degrees. You can see that flattens it out nicely there. Hit OK. And then do the same thing here. If I press and hold, it gives me, if I click and hold, it gives me this drop-down menu where I can scroll down through and select different hidden faces. So I'm going to select this face here that's highlighted. Click that. M for move. And we're going to do that one at 55 also. So there's my threads for the lower lid there. While we're working on this lower one, I'm going to turn my analysis back on. Go back to my front view. And inside here, we're going to want to add a chamfer in here so that the 3D printer can print this without having to put supports in there. So I'm going to select the inner joint there, chamfer, and we're going to do a 4 millimeter. Actually, we're going to go, let's try an 8. I want it to meet this edge here, so it might be a 10. There we go. So that looks good there. Now on the inside, we want to add a bit of a sloped base here to funnel water to the center. So I'm going to go to my front view. I'm going to create a sketch. Top left, I'm going to select this center plane, the vertical plane. I'm going to hit the letter P as in Paul on my keyboard. This brings up my project menu. So this allows me to project existing geometry into my sketch plane so I can reference them. I'm going to click this bottom line and hit OK. Now I'm going to hit L for line, for my line tool. And I'm going to start right here and come up at roughly this angle here. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I'll come down, grab this point, And now you can see I have a complete profile there. I'm going to go into my sketches here, and I'm going to name this sketch lower bottom slope. It's really helpful to name your sketches so you can go back and edit them and know what you're referencing. Now I'm going to go up here and select my revolve command. For my profile, I'm going to select the sketch I just made. For my axis that it's going to rotate around or revolve around, I'm going to expand my origin menu over here and select my Z axis. As you can see there, it automatically did a 360, but it's wanting to cut. I'm going to change it to join. And there we go. That's done. We have our chamfer done here. I'm going to turn my analysis off, add a chamfer to the top here. Select my chamfer tool. And let's see what a 2 looks like. It's a little bit much. We'll go with a 1.5 millimeter chamfer. And I'll start running my threads just a little bit right there. So we'll leave it at a 1, I think. That looks good. Okay. One last chamfer for the bottom, just to clean that up. We'll go 5 for that. So there our base is completed. You can see the inner geometry there. That should print nicely without any need for supports because of this chamfered overhang that we added in there. Now I'm going to turn on this body here, body 3, is the threads. Turn back on my upper, and if I turn on my section analysis, you see what we got going on here. A combined cut move. So I'm going to select my combine tool up here, and my target body is going to be my upper, and the tool body, when it's going to be doing the cutting, will be the base. But now the operation is set to join, which is not what I want. I want to do cut, and I want to keep my tools. I want to keep this lower section. So I'll hit OK. And not much looks like it has changed, but now I can select just this inner circle, and I'm going to go to my modify menu and offset this face -10. So I see this here is looking a little thin. That's, I think, only 2 millimeters. Yeah, I want that to be 5. So I'm going to go back to the feature in my timeline where I made that. I believe it was this one here. I'm going to right click on it and hit edit feature. And change, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this offset plane 7 millimeters up. Now I'm going to create my cylinder, select this plane. This is my center point. My diameter is going to be D84, which is my original diameter, -8. And I'm going to go down -17. It wants to cut. I'm going to change it to new body and hit OK. I'm going to hide, I'm going to rename this upper. I'm going to hide my base and the threads. I'm going to shell this out. 5mm wall. Okay. Put my base back in. Look at my section analysis. There we go. That gap right there is what I was looking for. I like how that's looking. So on the top here again, I'm going to create sketch. Hit C for circle. And this is going to be, again, diameter 84 minus 20. Oops, not 20. Minus 8. Hit OK. And I'm going to do my offset, select this outer edge. We're going to come in -5. That's the wall. Hit OK. And then I'm going to again extrude this up 101.6, which is 4 inches. Okay, so there's our upper back in place again. I'm going to turn back on my section analysis and finish these threads here. So I need to put threads inside the inner part of this upper part of the flower pot. So I'm going to hide my base. And I'm going to hide these threads. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to combine the base to the threads I put on it. Make sure it's a join. I do not want to keep the tools in this case. When you uncheck keep tools, it does not remove the component from your drawing. It just removes it from the tree over here, which is what I want to do. I hit OK. As you can see, threads is gone. It has now been merged into base. So I'm going to hide my base. I'm going to make an offset plane again from this here. I'm going to go up 2mm. So with the direction the arrow is pointing, I'm going to have to go -2. Hit OK. Select a coil and select this plane I just made. And this is going to be my center point. Now, again, I want my coil to be 0.2mm into this existing cylinder here. And this size was diameter 84 minus 8. I want it to be slightly larger than that, so I'm going to go only 7.8. OK. And remember the number of revolutions, but I do not remember the size. We're going to reduce this to 2mm. And the height is going the wrong direction. If I just change it to 6, it's still going down. So we're going to change it to -6 to reverse the direction. And actually my diameter, I forgot, I need it to be inside. Right now it's put it on the outside. So these are 5mm walls. So I need to take another 10 off of here. So 7.8 plus 10 is going to be -17. And there we go, it puts the thread on the inside. So we don't want it to be cut, I want it to be join. I'm going to leave it as new body so I can modify it if needed. And everything else looks good. 1 revolution, OK. And I need to modify the ends there, so I'm going to turn off my section analysis. Select this here, hit M for move, and this is the one I want here to 55 degrees. OK. Press and hold. That's the face I want. M for move. Oops, I can't quite see what I'm doing there. There we go. Okay. So there's that. I'll go back to my front view and just inspect it again. Put my base back on. And my section analysis back on. Okay, well, that's looking real good there. I'm going to merge these threads, which is body 5, into that upper there. My target body, I'm going to select my upper. Tool bodies is going to be these threads. I'm going to keep it as join and keep tools unchecked. Okay. And there we go. I'm going to add a chamfer to here again. Chamfer. I'm going to go. And 3 looks nice. We got 3 millimeters there. Now, final thing we need to tackle is a series of raised ridges around the perimeter of this top one here. Turn my analysis off. Look at it from the top view. I'm going to create a sketch in this top plane here. I'm going to create a 3-point rectangle. I'm going to go here where it snaps onto the edge. I'm going to click, and I'm going to go over 3.5 millimeters. Click there. And I'm going to go up 4 millimeters. Hit OK. Finish sketch, and I'm going to rename this sketch to ridges. And then I'm going to extrude this. And I'm going to extrude it the height of our flower pot, which is, in this case, negative 101.6. So I want it to go down. And I'm going to change it to a new body. That's important for what I'm going to do next. And hit OK. Okay, I forgot the height is different because I extruded this too high. So I think I need to come down with this 17 millimeters if I remember correctly. Here to here. Yeah, 17. Okay, so I'm just going to offset this face down negative 17. I'm just going to move this body down 17 degrees. This will be my Z distance, negative 17. Okay, so now it runs top to bottom there nicely. So now, I need to pattern this around the entire perimeter. So rather than drawing it, I'm going to create pattern, circular pattern. My object type is going to be bodies. The object I want to copy is going to be this here, body 6. My axis is going to be my z-axis. So right now, the number of objects is set to 3. I happen to know that 45 looks about right. Like that. Hit OK. And there we have the ridges. Alright, now I'm going to create the chamfer on the top here. And I'm going to select the XZ plane. I'm going to create a sketch on it. But I'm actually going to do the sketch up here. I'm going to hit P as in project on my keyboard and project this upper circle into my sketch. Hit OK. Go to my front view and I'm going to hide the bodies. Make it easier to see here. I'm going to hit L for line. Start right here. And then come down at, let's do a 55-degree angle. And length doesn't really matter, I just want to come well past the edge of my ridges. Hit OK. And come back up. Right now, all I'm doing is sketching a tool that I'll revolve around the top to cut away the top there. You'll see what I'm doing here shortly. Okay, so I made it plenty long, obviously. I'm going to go back and hit my revolve tool. That plane is automatically selected. My axis is going to be the Z-axis. And in this case, we do want it to cut. Hit OK. And there we go. We have a nice chamfer on the top there. I'm going to add a chamfer to the inside here. Always looks better if we can round off those edges. And let's go 1.5 millimeters. I think that looks nice. Okay. And there we go. This is the 4-inch flower pot. And on my section analysis, just take a look at everything here. So right now, if I would export this and try to print it, I would run into a big problem. That problem is right now, all of these individual ridges on the outside are separate bodies. So when I go to split this into objects in my slicer software, it would make a mess because it would treat every single one of these as a separate body. So I'm going to go here to bodies. I'm going to select combine. My target body is going to be my upper. My tool bodies are going to be body 6 all the way to the bottom here. Shift click, highlight all those. Operation set to join. OK. Now I'm back to just 2 components, an upper and a lower again. So here you can see why I made the initial inner diameter 8 millimeters less than the diameter of the base, because now our outer ridges line up perfectly with our base right there. The procedure for making the 6-inch and 8-inch are going to be the same. Obviously, just the dimensions are going to be different. The one thing I did forget on this 4-inch one was to put the drain holes in the bottom. That's pretty easy to do. Just select that bottom there, hit hole, and we're going to put one in the center. You can see that snaps to the center. For our height, we're just going to do 5 millimeters to go through the bottom there. For the width, we'll do 6 millimeters. Hit OK. And there's that hole. Now, to do the other ones here, I'll create a sketch on this plane. And hit C for circle. And I'm going to come out 50 millimeters. So finish sketch. I'm going to go back to my hole feature. And I'm going to just do a simple hole. Oops, select that plane. And put one of these in the line, right in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my pattern, circular pattern. This time the object type is going to be features, and I'm going to select select this hole right here. I selected it down on my timeline, so it's easy to click on. For the axis, again, I'm going to do the Z-axis, and I'm going to do 7 total. No, 6. 6 total, 7 with 1 in the middle. And hit OK. And there we have the drain holes in there yet. Recap of the settings I was talking to you about yesterday. This here is your slicing quality. So the lower the number, the more high quality the definition of your part will be, but the longer it will take to print. And with the way those flower pots are made, you can easily go the 0.24 millimeters for your slicing height and be just fine. And then on your strength here, if you change your wall loops to 3, that'll give you just a little more strength. And then you can drop your infill density to 5 or 10%. And like I said yesterday, the orange is normal. That just means it's something that you've changed. And you can see strength is now an orange. And that just means that we've modified something from the default settings. And the third thing I would change, like we talked about, is support. Just click Enable Support and leave the rest of it at the default settings there, and you should be fine.